And a warm welcome live back to America's Heartland as the FIVB proudly presents the 23rd Annual World Grand Prix of Women's Volleyball. It's day 4 of this round robin, featuring first Russia and China. Coming up next from Omaha as we continue the road to Rio. Welcome back inside once again, the beautiful home of this Grand Prix, the CenturyLink Center in downtown Omaha, Nebraska. There you see Russia in white getting ready and China in the far court. These two teams obviously elite in the world of women's volleyball. Will get ready to go, and both of them very, very tired indeed after a busy day yesterday. More on that in a moment as we take a look at the current standings. The United States over Russia in 4 sets last night. Brazil got their second win of the tournament. They're at 2-1. China at 1-2 after losing to Italy, who got their first win, and Japan still looking to get into the win column. With Clayton Lucas, I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks so much for joining us. And mentioned Clayton in the setup to this match between Russia and China, two pretty tired teams. And I think that's going to be a key. And in his 5 days of consecutive round-robin play, the depth of any given roster is very, very important.
Well, looking at the Russian roster in particular, so much has been required so far of Natalia Goncharova, number 8, and she's had to carry the load. Big questions over whether or not she will be fit enough to be able to do that again in this big game.
And a look at China, and again, a lot of very, very unfamiliar names, if you will. More on that in a moment. A very strategic move in terms of personnel for the head coach, Jenny Langping. And we're now ready for the national anthems of Russia and China. And then we will get going here in Omaha on day 4.
At this time, would you please stand for the playing of our team's national anthems. First, the national anthem of Russia. And now, the national anthem of China.
And the warm-ups have been concluded. The playing of the national anthems. We'll have the introduction of the international referees, and then we'll get started. Day 4 to follow. It will be the United States versus Brazil, and then in the last match it will be Italy versus Japan. You spoke, of course, very accurately, Clayton, about Natalia Goncharova 25 of 51 last night against the United States, 16 of 41 against Brazil, 27 of 49 in their 3-set win over Italy. Russia now at 2-1. They want to stay in the medal picture, obviously, but what a workload for this world superstar.
And it was actually noticeable just watching the national anthem. She's got some very heavy strapping on her left leg, and she was taking all the weight on her right leg, actually not putting any weight through that. So just wonder whether or not that's going to be an issue for her. But generally once the athletes get going, they get warmed up, the adrenaline's flowing, they can get on and don't really notice it.
Here are the two officials. Susana Rodriguez from Spain, and she will be partnered with Kang Joo-hee from Korea. You've got to be very careful if you're looking at the broader picture as far as Goncharova is concerned, because upcoming in not the too distant future, in just over a month's time, it will be the World Cup. 12 teams, one of the most demanding round-robin competitions in the history of all sports, and that's to qualify for the Olympic Games.
It's all very well trying to get a result here, but the bigger picture, as you say, is to get to the Olympics, and you don't want to risk your athletes and jeopardize that from happening by having them injure themselves here at the World Grand Prix.
Starting lineup: Sherban, Pashinkova, Lubishkina, the same starting lineup. Goncharova is there. Kasanyenko, the captain and setter. Katerina Orlova is one of the middle blockers, and Anna Malova. Just love this young woman, number 19. What a fantastic libero.
I think she's been the star of the show as far as that's concerned. She was outstanding in the match against the USA, made some superb digs, and Yuri Marichev, well, he got himself in a spot of bother yesterday, calling a challenge when he shouldn't have done. But we've been talking about the challenge system, the fact that you're able to actually know what it is you want, be able to communicate properly, and if you don't speak English, it can be difficult.
Yeah, and English is by rule, mind you, the official language of the FIVB, and Mr. Marichev, along with his counterpart, the head coach, at least for now, from China, An Jia, do not speak a word of English, so sometimes they're working at a real deficit when it comes to explaining what can be some complicated challenges. Very familiar starting lineup again. Zhang Xiaoya will get the start, number 11. Ding Xia, the setter, who was injured and really turned the fortunes of China in the opening match when they lost to Brazil 3-1, is back in the starting lineup. How important is she to China, and how does she change the look of their team?
Well, she's so important because she's able to deliver a nice quick ball out wide, and she's very stable at doing that. I think one thing, though, that whilst they've got this their setter back, what they haven't got at the moment is number 13, Wang Yunlu, who was pretty much serving Italy off the court yesterday. She doesn't get a start in the outside. So it'll be interesting to see. Coach has made a few changes, but it's very important for the captain to be involved, I think, and just help not only with the setting, but also bringing the confidence of the team up and getting them settled, because they'll feel a lot better having her setting.
I thought that was a great point you mentioned about number 13, Wang Yunlu, only 19 years of age, had 4 aces, and some of the, I said it, and I really meant it. She hit a couple of jump float serves that were the best I have ever seen. Monica Di Gennaro, the outstanding libero from Italy, had no chance, absolutely no chance, and she's out of the lineup today. But again, China now at 1-2. They brought a very young lineup, a roster to this competition. Controversy, we've talked about that a lot. But you know, also you got to build some young players, and maybe Clayton trying to get some other players some meaningful experience, and obviously playing against Russia is a pretty good test.
Well, it's going to be a really big test here for China. Russia lost to China earlier on in the World Grand Prix by virtue of a 3-1 defeat. However, this is a different Chinese team here. Russia will want revenge, and they'll also want to do it in style. The question is whether or not physically both teams are going to be up for it. It's going to be a real mental battle as well, of really who wants this one the most.
So Russia will serve first, and it will be Alexandra Pasninkova, 27 years of age, 1m90. 6'3½", 29th meeting all time in the Grand Prix. Russia leads the series with 18 wins over 10 for China. And we are about set to go. Best 3 out of 5 sets, and we're underway. And that was a tired-looking play. I know it's only the first point of the match, but that was a pretty tired effort by Goncharova.
Well, it'll be a worry if that really is the case, that she's struggling already. There were no signs that she was in any trouble really in the warm-up. Everybody was functioning as you'd expect them to.
Lu Tong now for China. Yeah, much quicker offense immediately. Ding Xia changes the entire makeup and the entire chemistry of China.
She's very similar in style to Ben Kun, probably the greatest setter, I think, to play the game for the women, in that she's very difficult to read where she's going to put the ball.
Well, that is a lofty comparison, but style-wise, I certainly agree with that. Cut inside, easily done. And through the block and down. So China, a nice-looking start. Liu Yonhan, 22 years of age, 1m88, 6'2" with a kill.
Nice high ball wide, and actually getting a gap in the block, getting it passed all over.
And first of all, the kill straight to the floor. The first of many for Natalia Goncharova. Excuse me, 26 years of age, 1m94, 6'4", played at the World Championships, has been averaging so far in the tournament 14 attempts per set. A lot of players, particularly middle attackers, are lucky if they get 14 swings in a match.
It's a lot to go to for one person to carry that, especially when there's quality around Goncharova. With all over, the middles are good, they work well. So it's perhaps a sign that Russia's pass hasn't quite been as good as it needs to be.
Exactly right. The middles will get involved if the passing is good. Down the line, on the sideline. You can have the best middles in the world, but if you're not in system, they're spectators at the offensive end. Great point. Sun Yixin now back to serve. Nice looking offense, but a better block by China, and around they go.
Well, Lubishkina did well. She held the Chinese middle, so it was one-on-one, and you'd expect in this situation Sherban to put the ball away. Well, that's a nice block, though, taking away the cross court.
China with a quick early lead at 5-2. Pretty good pass once again, one-on-one on the outside. China with her hands on it, and a wonderful dig, that time by Ding Xia. And through the three-woman block and down. China now leading it 6-2. We'll have a technical timeout when a team reaches 8, and again when a team reaches 16.
Great chase, not giving up on this one. And doing really well, actually, getting two hands on the ball to bring it back. Still that extra bit of control.
Goncharova hammering inside the block once again. We'll give you Russia's road right now to their 2-1 record. The opening day of this 5-match round robin, and really a challenge physically and mentally. Defeated Italy 3-0. First couple of sets were very, very close, then beat Brazil handily 3-0, and then lost last night to the United States 3-1 in a very good match. The best match so far of the tournament. Beautiful kill off the left side by number 19, Liu Yonhan. I really enjoyed that match last night between the United States and Russia. Both teams playing at a pretty high level. Atmosphere was good, as you might imagine. The United States playing on home soil.
Well, Russia got a taste of their own medicine in that game. And against Italy, they had set points down and they turned it around. But then they couldn't do it against the USA, who took the set from them, and that kind of set the tone for the game.
And the Luigi. It's a lefty if it doesn't go down. It's a Luigi if it does go down. Sort of my 1-2 punch you get.
That's a very nice swing.
That is really well done, and we've come to the first technical timeout. And at least so far, very early on, it is all China. Good discipline for this young Chinese team to come out so ready to play after a frustrating 3-2 loss yesterday to Italy.
And we've also seen them as well during the course of this tournament come out and start so slowly that it was as if they weren't even ready to play. They've been 5-1 down, 6-1 down, 7-1 down. And but that's much better from them. The coach will be delighted with the way they've started this particular match.
I'm so glad you mentioned that point, because they came out against Japan and looked like they were still asleep. And then remember against Italy just yesterday? They were behind 16-4 in the opening set. Obviously, they lost that set, and they eventually ended up going down in 5. But they certainly woke up and played, at times, very well indeed. So the team's coming back out on the court with China leading 8-3 out of the technical timeout. The challenge system in effect as well here. Good short serve. Another easy early opportunity for China to the outside off the top of the block. Dug by Pashinkova. Oh, that ball's got to come up. Good swing out of the back row by Goncharova.
Well, the block had done its job. It slowed the ball down, had a nice arc on it. It was there to be recycled. And China will be disappointed they weren't able to put that into transition.
Sherban has had some moments in their opening match against Italy. She was 9 for 20. In the win over Brazil, she was 10 for 18 attacking. And inside, the Russian blocking down. But you made the point, and we've talked about how much Goncharova has of a load they've had to carry. But if they're going to be truly an elite team, they're going to have to find some balance.
Well, they need Sherban to start working, and Kasinkova to be working, putting pressure on, and they need a really good pass. The one thing that Malova's good at is she's a really good defender, no question of that, probably one of the best we've seen. But passing-wise at the moment, the team's not quite on song.
They have to work too hard because you watch Russia play, and they don't get many kills like this. Quick first strike into the middle, make it easy. Orlova coming out, being replaced by number 14, Irina Fedosova. Fedosova was on the Grand Prix team last year in Tokyo at the finals when Russia won the bronze. Good dig down the line. Oh, that was almost blocking the set. Pretty good recovery, and it's going to be a net violation anyway.
Yeah, Russia lucky not to have touched that, actually, as it was set behind. A late move, but just about getting the ball in play. One thing China doing very well, actually, on their passing unit is actually they're all just committed. I've got to make the pass, and that's all they're concerned about, making sure the ball goes in. And then the distribution's really good as a result.
Russia again out of system, making life difficult, but they do have some long, very explosive athletes, and Pashinkova gets another kill. First serving opportunity for the setter, 25-year-old Katerina Kusenyenko. Couple of good back-to-back plays by the respective liberos, and Anamalova getting the best of that, wearing the blue jersey into the cross court. Very nicely done.
And the ball was a little tight to net. There wasn't any sort of wriggle room for China with that one.
Oh, tough serve, and can't be handled by number 9, Zhong. And look at this, Russia creeping back in. Within 2, and a timeout called by China's head coach on Jia.
Well, no surprise, timeout's been called. Just trying to settle the team down again, find a rhythm, get side out, and go again. It's got a high arc on it, this ball, actually. It's quite some surprise that the decision to go to volley that was taken so late.
Yeah, that's just a bad decision and a predictable result as Russia coming out of this timeout called by China on a 5-2 run to get right back in this opening set. After the best start for China, they were up 6-2 and 8-3 at the first technical timeout.
It's very reminiscent watching China play at these World Championships, the way that they've gone up and gone down. It's very much like watching Poland play.
Well, they're a young team, and this is not their best roster, so the one thing that you would expect consistently is inconsistency. A lot of unforced errors and giving up yet another point on a reception error. Kasinkova, boy, just missed that out of bounds over the left shoulder that time of number 21, Yu.
Liu Xiaotong did really well to get out of the way of that ball.
This is Ding Xia. If you weren't with us for our opening day coverage, China beat Brazil, took the opening set, very, very close set indeed. And on the last play of that set, she twisted her ankle badly, and she really hasn't played significant minutes since that time. And she looks like she can be a difference maker. Great cover that time by China's libero, Wang Monjia. But a score for Russia once again.
That's frustrating for China. Zhong Ying having an opportunity to have a swing and really not taking it after a great pickup. Nothing to lose here. Just go after the ball, make something happen.
Absolutely. Hit the ball into the block. The worst thing you can do is out or into the net. Pasinkova. Tough serve down the line. Good deep swing into the cross court. World-class swing there by Zhang Chongning.
Well, she makes up for the earlier error with this swing. Just takes him on, goes cross court, nobody getting in the way. In fact, going over the top of Sherban. That's very impressive.
Liu Xiaotong going with a jump serve and missing that badly. To give you an idea of the youth and inexperience of this particular Chinese roster, Liu Xiaotong is the only player on the Chinese roster back from the 2014 World Championships. Here's Fedosova serving for the first time. Play out of the middle and misconnection there. You can see that China wants to play faster with a different setter in there, number 16. And now we're tied at 12 apiece. Russia has outscored China 9-4 during this run. And over the top of the block. Nice swing. A couple of good back-to-back swings by the 19-year-old at 6'4", Zhang Chongning.
This is unlike Russia, really. They've been really good. One really good part of their game has been their blocking. And so far in this Grand Prix, but China finding some ways through at the moment.
On the overpass, tapping straight down, number 11, Zhang Xue. And a timeout is going to be called by Yuri Medichev.
It's always very nice. If you get an ace, brilliant. But the next best thing is to get the overpass that your front row can then hammer away. Well, you mentioned that Liu Xiaotong's the only player for China who's actually come back from the World Championships. But even with that experience, he's hardly been used in this tournament. They've still relied on the youngsters, haven't they?
Well, giving them a good look. Giving them a look against Italy, against the United States. Well, they'll get a look against the United States tomorrow, the final and fifth day of competition. Sherban, good swing against a big three-woman block for China.
Zhang Yasin covering at 5, didn't get outside the shadow of the block, and not able to cut the angle off as a result. She's way out of position trying to play defense.
Goncharova, one of the real holes in her game, maybe the only hole, is that she's not a world-class server, and she should be. Swing into the cross court. Pasinkova was there, and so was Goncharova. But the score for China, and it is 15-13 once again. Remember, the second technical will come when a team reaches 16. Good set to the outside, and I like the timing. Everything but the result. Number 19, Yu, wants a touch, and the head coach for China. So we're going to have our first video challenge. You're allowed 2 per set, and I'll give you the areas now that we have one that can be challenged. We're waiting for that to be wound back, and there's a touch off the block, net touch, center line violation, 3-meter line attack violation, foot fault on the serve, ball in or out, and ball off the antenna. So waiting patiently for the video evidence to determine whether or not there was a touch on the ball swung by Liu Yonhan.
It almost covers everything. We have seen a couple of instances where the coaches would have loved to have made a challenge. That's whether the ball has hit the floor or not.
Right,
and a couple of those that some of the coaches felt didn't go their way, particularly Karch Kirai yesterday in the game for the USA.
No touch. Right through the wickets.
It's a very nice analogy.
Okay. So no touch detected there, and you get a good look at the super slow motion. I'll tell you, if the slightest little touch, and you can see it. That ball hammered quickly down the line. Zhang Xue with the kill, and China has come to the technical timeout now, leading by 2. 16-14, opening match of day 4, China versus Russia, followed by the United States and Brazil.
Classic women's volleyball, slide behind, drifting with the ball, and then picking your spot to put the ball down.
И обманы, вот сейчас сильно забил, ничего страшного, но обманы и накаты мы все должны забить. Достать. Давай, пошли.
China in the maroon uniforms coming back out on the floor, and Russia in their white and blue. Paul Sunderland joined once again by Clayton Lucas. Thanks for joining us, if you will, here in Omaha for the 4th of 5 days of competition. Goncharova out of the back row, and that is her 3rd kill early in this first set.
She's so good at generating angles. And even when she's pretty square onto the net as well, she doesn't really open up her shoulders with a big swing, very fast arm, and can cut the ball across her body really well and still keep her height.
Originally from the Ukraine, now a Russian citizen, married to a Russian. As a matter of fact, one of the fine liberos on the Russian men's team.
There's a nice block by Pasenkova, just went up, waited and then pressed as the ball was hit by China.
Lyubushkina. And a touch along the sideline. We're going to get a swing out of this in transition. No, we're not. 3 ball coming to China. And the left-hander once again. And that is a added dimension for China when number 16 is on the floor.
Well, that's twice now. Ding Xiao's gone over and taken matters into her own hands. You just wonder how long Kostyanenko's going to wait before she goes over it and has a swing herself.
So Russia is challenging, and it's a net touch challenge. I'm guessing, Clay, that the only thing he can be challenging is that Ding Xia on the follow-through, as she put that ball away inside the Russian block, contacted the net. A little bit of a mystery here, because I didn't see any problem.
No, when the initial ball came over, it hit the net. The net was moving up and down a little bit, but no one was anywhere near it.
Nope. Susana Rodriguez from Spain is the first referee.
I'll say one thing that Marichev was guilty of in the game against the USA was using the challenge system purely for a timeout.
No, there's no net there. Nope, nope. Perfectly legal play. Yeon Mi coming in, replacing number 20, Sun Yi-shin. I'd say adding some more size to the front court for China, but it's a pretty basic switch. There's a lot of size for China.
Yeah, some very powerful outside hitters to choose from.
That ball called an ace, and now we're going to have another challenge, and this will be the second and could be final challenge, because if you use a challenge, as Yuri Marichev just did, it's proven incorrect, you lose it. This was very close to the line, and a critical play as China now leads once again 18-16. If you're just joining us, carved out a quick lead 6-2 and 8-3. Let's take a look. This ball in or out. Hawkeye is ready. Is there a piece of the line? It painted a piece of the line. So now Russia is out of challenges. Zhong Shuya back to serve. Right on top of the net. Not good ball control, not good blocking, but give Ekaterina Kuznyenko at only 5'8", a kill somehow through the Chinese blockers.
Well, it was only a matter of time before Kuznyenko decided to do that. Bing Xiao's done it twice. Kuznyenko wanted to make sure that she doesn't get away with it and feel she's the boss and be able to go over on two, and she wants to. So giving China something to think about.
Good swing into the cross court once again. Liu Xiaotong.
Russia just a little bit wide with their block. Taking away a lot of the line, but just opening up too much cross court.
Good pass by Malova and a better block into the middle. Number 17, Yeon Ni, and at 6'3", 1m92.
It was a little bit predictable. It wasn't the quickest of a quicks either, so it gave time for Yeon Ni to see what was going on, make the read, and then make the block.
China with their biggest lead now since the very early going. I don't know why China is serving Malova. She's been pretty well expert in first ball contact. That is a very bad set, and it's going to give China another opportunity out of the back row, and that ball is to the floor. Number 19, Liu Yonghon with a kill. What a good effort play by China. Yesterday, a match that I'm sure they're very disappointed they lost to Italy, a team that had been struggling. They hadn't won a match yet, and here they come out really good discipline with a lot of energy and get to the early lead, and now the lead late, 21-17.
I think the fact they've taken this lead again is even more impressive. The fact that they got the first lead, great. They came out of the blocks quicker, that's fine. They had their lead, they got what they deserved, but then they were clawed back, and it's this second movement way now is impressive, definitely.
Led 6-2, led 8-3 at the first technical timeout, and then Russia came storming back, clawed back, as you said quite rightly, tied at 12 apiece. And then China again with a little mini run, and Deng Xia a couple of kills, an ace serve, not by Deng, but one of her teammates, and China looking pretty good here to take the opening set. Malova, another expert reception, and Gacharova, an expert kill.
Solid siding out from Russia. Just wondering whether or not the head coach and Jia will think about bringing in number 13, Won Yun Lu, for some serving. He does have that available to him, and she does have a brilliant serve. The only question is whether or not she'll be able to get it going right from the word go.
Service error, and now it's a 4-point advantage once again for China, 22-18. Easy serve to handle. And Goncharova onto the sideline. She has been quite simply unstoppable.
It's always really difficult. I think it's very difficult as a blocker to know where she's actually going to hit this ball. That could have easily been hit the line. The way that she approaches, she could have hit the ball down the line is equally as well as she just hit it cross court.
Step inside, good block reaction. Udishkina with the early stop. Roll shot off speed into the middle of the court.
Well, everyone was expecting either something off the block or a hard hit, not just an easy roll.
Be sure enjoying the conversation, not only regarding this particular tournament, hashtag FIVB Grand Prix, but anything you want to talk about, the upcoming World Cup, Olympic qualifications, the Men's World League. Whatever strikes your fancy, you can reach out to us on hashtag on Twitter, FIVB Grand Prix. Goncharova with another kill. Let's get you her numbers. 6 of 11, make it 7 of 12. No errors. No errors. A day after she was 25 of 51 against the United States, comes right back, and she's been averaging 14 attempts per set, so right on schedule. Olga Efimova on now in the front court. Beautiful dig by Malova again. Doing a wonderful job, and her libero matchup can't answer at the other end. Chenzan misses that one. What a dig by Malova once again. Russia hanging in. China forced to call a timeout, but still leading 23-21.
Nice play by Yuri Matichev, actually taking off Kosinenko, bringing in Efimova purely for the extra height to try and make the block work. And as a result, nice dig as well from the libero, Anna Malova.
Jenny Long-Ping, the head coach for China and one of the great players and coaches in the history of the sport, not with this team, back in China. As we've heard, seemed to a minor health issue, so we wish Jenny well. Coached the United States at the Olympic Games, ironically, in Beijing. A serve here, and now Russia back within one. Beijing Olympic Games, it was Brazil with the gold, United States with the silver, and China with the bronze medal. Good serve down the line once again. Russia for the tie. Sherban, no. Pressure swing on the outside, good block by Russia. Good tempo. China's going to get another swing at it. Russia equaling China at the defensive end, and then right into the cross court. I'm telling you, my MVP for Russia once again, as she was last night. You take Goncharova out of the equation, but after that, the libero for Russia has just been outstanding.
And everyone decided to chip in. That's a really good shot as well from Anna Sherban. Deep into the corner, down to position 5.
Chenzan now into pass. Has played at some libero. China falling apart here in their reception. This can give Russia a set point. Malova with a cover. Malova again. And out of bounds. Can you believe that unforced error? Wow.
Oh, that's just really poor play from Russia off the back of some excellent plays. Almost as if Anna Malova's seeing the ball in slow motion, the way she's able to get onto it. And she'll be mighty disappointed that then it's a soft point off the back of that, given away and giving China set point.
Match is heating up a little bit, and I think it took a little while for both of these teams to shake off the lactic acid and cobwebs from a long match yesterday for both of them. China losing to Italy in 5 sets, and that ball is right on the sideline. Wow, not a centimeter to spare. Well, Russia was losing to the United States in 4 very tough sets.
That's a great swing.
Yep.
From Lyubushkina.
So 1 set point for China is saved. China's challenging this. Wow, that's a waste of a challenge. That was right in front of the Chinese bench. It's not like it was on the opposite sideline. Ball was in by a foot. On Jia, the Chinese coach, looking a little sheepishly along the sideline there. But you know, maybe a timeout. Yeah, timeout when you don't want to use one, so you just challenge what is an obvious play. They've already shown it. I'm not sure what we're waiting for. We've already seen the video. Oh, of course it was.
It will be 24-24.
Gonna share Bond back to serve. Good bump set, spinning the ball up towards the net. Very good technique out of the setting position.
And a good finish as well, going block out. He's moving into some real pressure situations now for both teams, looking to side out or in off-ball situations, looking to put the ball away. The discipline of both teams at the moment, very good actually in those departments.
Set point number 2. Libushkina to kill down the line, a couple of swings, but puts that ball away. And an aggressive, confident set by Kosenyenko.
It's nice she went to the middle, went on the slide behind. First time it didn't work, second time it most definitely did.
Well, when it's not Animalova in the cross court, Russia is not necessarily a very good defensive team. She is brilliant, but her teammates need to really improve in that area.
Well, you kind of give the middle blockers the benefit of the doubt, really. If they can make a dig when they're serving, it's a bonus. If they don't, it's not. They don't mind too much.
Zhang back to serve, set point number 3 for China. And that, on the baseline, right on the end line. Jump, float, serve. Just floats and floats and floats, and sometimes it drops like a stone, and other times it floats off like a balloon. Opening set goes to China.
A little bit of luck, but they'll take it. It did look like it was going out. And I think that's why China are all smiles. They can't quite believe it was in themselves.
So teams will change sides, and set number 1 in the books here on the 4th day of competition at the FIVB World Grand Prix Finals here in Omaha, Nebraska. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, looking at the first set statistics, China with more spikes. Not much in it in terms of blocks, but I guess the key was that ace that China had. Despite the fact they had one less, it's when you get them that makes a difference. When you get those scores, and right when they needed it, they got the one extra point, that little ace, even though they only had 2, and it got the job done for them. And it's going to make a very interesting second set, though, because it was really difficult. It could have easily have gone Russia's way. China has snuck it, and I think Russia will be looking to come out and see if they can get the next one. And it's got the feeling of a game I think it's going to probably go to 5, potentially.
Well, good. That's why we're here. Good. Let's take it right down to the wire. I'm all for it. You know what I like to see is that there were only 9 total hitting errors. Both teams playing at a pretty high level as we welcome you once again to CenturyLink Center in downtown Omaha, Nebraska, a city of about 500,000, right in the middle of the United States. Nebraska, known as the Cornhusker State for obvious reasons. Huge agricultural area and also the nearby home of the University of Nebraska. So Russia in white, China in the maroon. And we're just getting ready for the start of set number 2. The United States and Brazil to follow, followed thereafter by Italy and Japan. Change at the setting position. Wang Na coming in now, replacing Ding Xia.
Well, they've made
an error in the lineup.
They have indeed, yes.
Wow.
So he's going to waste a substitution.
So he literally wrote down number 4. So Wang Na has to go on the court, say, okay, fine, as they've checked the starting lineup. So the coach wrote down the wrong number.
Well, that could make things difficult for China now, especially in that key position, the setting position. He's only now got one more change, that's it. If Xia goes off again, she doesn't come back on for the rest of the set.
Yeah, if she tweaks that angle again, she's done. Or whatever. Or if China gets in real trouble. And nicely done out of the middle. I want to ask you a question. We keep talking about why doesn't Russia set the middle more and more and more. If I'm a middle hitter for Russia, after a while, you run up there and jump, 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 you never get the ball. After a while, don't you just lose some of your motivation knowing that even though you're open and even though Russia's in system, you're maybe only going to get maybe 5 opportunities a match?
I think if you are running and jumping and you're doing as you say, all that time you don't get the ball, but you're keeping a middle block with you, you've done your job.
Right, but if you're never getting set, any middle blocker that jumps with you is a little bit slow on the uptake. You know, I'm only jumping with a middle blocker when they're getting set a lot. Otherwise, I'm just releasing to the outside. That was kind of my point. Nicely done by China. That's how they carved out the early lead in the opening set. If you're just joining, it was all China early. Led at 6-2, 8-3, but then Russia came back to tie at 12, and then it was very close after that. Oh, smart shot up into the block. Very smartly done by Ding Xia. And interesting about that by Ding Xia, she's in the back row. So she had to hit the ball up into the Russian block from below the height of the net. That was very clever.
And put the brakes on as well as she came running in. Clever play and good reactions.
Well, she gave China another chance. And then finally, a left-handed tip going down. That should never happen. Oh, I like that. Good aggressiveness by Liu Yonhan.
Ball forced out wide. Decent dig from over. Actually, say a decent dig. Actually, for her, not such a decent dig. She should have been putting that high to the middle of court.
Off the top of the tape, Lubushkina with a nice reaction. We've seen that ball fall for an ace many times throughout the course of this tournament. And then into the cross court. Nice swing. Would have been a point anyway for China as there was a net violation on Russia. That is a really good swing on the broken play. Sherban with the kill.
Certainly a player that, when she gets it right, very difficult to stop. Just lacked a little bit of consistency during this World Grand Prix.
Sherban now with 5 kills on 13 swings. Of course, leading the way is Goncharova with 7 kills on 15 swings. As a team, Russia is hitting .349 efficiency, which are China's numbers after this play. Very good location and a better block. Number 11, Zhang Shuye with the stuff block. China is hitting .333, currently 22 of 51.
Well, the ball just bringing Mesinkova into the centre of court, right into the heart of China's block as a result.
What would be better to do in that situation?
Well, if it was me and I got brought in, I certainly wouldn't be hitting with a top spin. I'd try and put a side spin, I'd play it into the block to come back out again, try and recycle it. Because you just know if I'm going to hit like that, I'm going to get put down. It's really a kind of it's not a smart hit, it's just a comfortable hit because I'm in this position and I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing. But you really high into the hands, get it back out again, try and get it off the block and out of play, or purposefully recycle it and go again.
Libushkina. And right through the hands once again of number 9, Zhong Chongning. That's the second time she has tried to receive that serve overhand, not only with little luck, but with complete failure. Had both of them go right through her hands. That ball's hit out of bounds. Zhong missed it. Timeout is called by China. And once again, China giving up a lot of free points as they did in the opening set in spite of the fact that they were able to pull it out.
It seems that they make one error, then another one immediately after it, and then they settle down, and then they do the same again. They're kind of struggling with that little bit of consistency. Some attention to, looks like Kosinenko.
Yeah, that's the Russian setter. It is a very, very tough, relenting 5 days of round-robin competition. It's particularly tough on a couple of countries. I mean, the United States is playing the finals at home, but their first pool was in Turkey. Their second pool was in Kaliningrad. Their third pool was in Hong Kong. Then they had to fly 18 hours back to the United States. Well, they were the host. This tournament is easiest by far on the Asian teams as far as the travel is concerned. Good swing that time once again. The left-handed kill, her third by Deng Xia.
Well, she's a front court player. She's on the perfect side as a left-hander, so if she can have a swing, she'll take it.
Speaking of the travel for the Asian countries, like China, like Japan, like Korea, like Thailand, all of them host pools, so that the travel is much, much easier in the early going because the travel really takes its toll. Valentina Edeghetti, the captain for Italy, who has yet to play one rotation here at these World Grand Prix finals, thinks a lot of the problem that she's having with her back now is because of the relentless hours on airplanes.
A lot of that it will be in economy as well. They don't all travel business class. It's not a life of luxury when you're on the road. It's hard graft. And there's not that much sightseeing. It's all about the business of what you're having to do.
Right, and if you're 6'4".
Exactly, and you're in, and the seats aren't really built for people who are 6'4" and over. So you've got that travelling, you've got that the time zones to get through, and you've got the training, bus rides, and all the rest of it.
Now a nice tip into the middle of the court. That ball's on the floor by Zhong Xue.
Well, the hand was up early. Malova was thinking that perhaps the ball was going to be tipped to the line instead of moving that way before she went back inside.
I have no criticism for Anna Malova not getting to that ball because she's done just about everything else. Got to cut her some slack. She has been, other than Goncharova, the best Russian player. To the technical timeout, and with that, Russia leading 8-7, trailing 1-0 to China. China and Russia both doing a very good job offensively. Liu Yanhan, already in double figures, has taken 26 swings early in this particular contest, and the youngster putting some balls away.
Well, her and number 13, Wang Yinlu, very reminiscent of Wang Yimei, who used to play for China on the outside. Yeah. Similar builds, similar styles. Get up there and really rip the ball.
I remember Wang Yimei as a 19 or 20-year-old. She was the leading scorer at the Beijing Olympic Games. Has disappeared from the game. Just worked right into the ground because hitting 50, 60 balls a match for her national team and then get a week's rest and then go right to her club team and do the same thing. That's a prescription for a very sore shoulder and a very short career. Oh, right through a seam in the block that time, number 21. Liu Xiaotong able to get the kill.
This is what you want when you can get the ball into transition. You want your outside hitters. Not a great deal of room to work with, but it's that deep ball into the corner every time. Nice high hit, put pressure then on the defense.
That is a great teaching lesson for a lot of young players. The most valuable part of the court is the last meter. You hit the ball there consistently, and you're going to hit for a good percentage. Nice quick combination play out of the middle, number 17, Yan Li, with on the receiving end of Ding Xia.
Lovely set. That's why Ding Xia's in there, to be able to put that ball in at that pace and just put that pressure on Russia.
Tight pass and the misconnection there, and that's what happens sometimes when you play with a setter that is only 1.78 m, as Kosenyenko is, number 10 in white. Looked like Yuri Merichev, the head coach for Russia, was thinking about a timeout. Good dig right to the 3-meter line. Lots of options on the outside. And from the right, China scores it again. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a timeout from Russia. None coming so far.
It's a very nice swing from the opposite player. Just cutting that ball away, just leaning to the left slightly to give herself some room.
Service pressure here, the tap down by Yan Li.
Well, we talked about how good a server number 13 is for China, but I tell you what, Ding Xia's serving as well is causing some real problems.
Well, I thought that Yuri Merichev, head coach for Russia, would call a timeout. 1 point more than he would have liked to have given up. Teams to the sideline, with China leading 1-0 and 12-8 here in the second. Big Chinese communities all over the United States, New York, Chicago, Boston, of course San Francisco, and apparently Omaha, Nebraska. Tough serve into the cross court, beautifully passed by Pesenkova, and then Sherban is stuffed once again, and we're going to see a substitution. Ksenia Ilchenko, who played very well in spot duty last night against the United States, will be coming on. Only 20 years of age. Had a couple of kills yet last night. Helped to get Russia out of some trouble. And if you're China, maybe a pretty good idea to serve her immediately. Give her a nice warm welcome to the match.
We'll find out if she's up to game speed.
And getting them out of trouble once again. I think that Russia's being careful, at least, to spread the wealth a little bit so that they just don't bury Goncharova before the tournament's over.
It was a nice swing from her, but as you said, really, Ilchenko should have had that ball. It was just a case of not really paying attention to what was happening on the other side of the net by China.
Boy, China's rolling right now offensively. I really like watching Ding Xia set the ball. A lot of energy, a lot of variety to what she does offensively, and obviously much more up-tempo. Remember, we'll have another technical timeout when a team reaches 16. Goncharova again. Off the top of the tape and down.
A cruel blow, but it does make the sport just that little bit more exciting because you just don't know where it's going to go, and it's all kind of you can't legislate for. It could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, right. We've talked about this, and I'm just fine with the ball in play off the top of the tape indoors. There's 6 players out there. You got to be aware. You got to be ready. But boy, on the beach, it really makes me nervous. I just don't want to see, and we've talked about, and I know you cover a lot of beach volleyball as well. I just don't want to see a world championship or a gold medal at the Olympic Games decided by a mistake.
Well, there's also another on the beach as well. The block counting as a touch, I find strange to say the least, because you're always on the back foot then when you're playing defense. You don't get a chance to develop an offense as a result of making a good dig or making a good block touch. I think that's something that needs to be looked at outside.
Boy, that would be a huge revolutionary change.
But then you just start giving credit then for the team that made a good block. You haven't been able to put it away, so now we have a chance to try and put it away. So Kosinenko now just one behind Xia in the setting spikers battle.
Oh, and violating the plane of the net. So Ding Xia. So China being inconsistent once again, as we've seen. Remember, after leading early in the opening set, Russia able to get back in and tie at 12, and then it was a battle, and it looks like the same sort of script here. And Goncharova again, high off the block and out of bounds. Goncharova now with 11 kills on 22 swings, hitting 500. If anybody else in the tournament is even in the category for 1, leading scorer, and 2, the best attacker, something's wrong. Tipped into the block. That ball's got to come back by China. You got to see that your hitter's in trouble. So now after the timeout, 12-8 at the timeout, and then Russia, we're at 15 all, and a timeout called by China, and we'll have the technical timeout right after this play. So obviously the head coach An Jia for China recognizing that his team was in real trouble because not willing to wait for the technical timeout. Malova again. And Pasinkova off the block and out of bounds. And Russia, again, after trailing 12-8, has come all the way back to lead 16-15. So that's an 8-3 run for Russia. Technical timeout. And China, we've talked about sometimes how slowly they come out of the locker room. A very, very slow start against Japan and also against Brazil. Now, watch the choreography here. The ball goes down and the celebration is on, and around we go. I joked earlier that if my teammates and I had done that, that just would have been a traffic jam. That would have been trouble. I guess these young women have been doing this all their lives, a real tradition among the Asians, the Chinese, the Japanese, and the Koreans. China will close out their World Grand Prix finals tomorrow against the United States. And be sure and check your times on FIVB.com because that is at 12 noon local time. That is Central Time in the United States. And Russia will play the final match of this tournament against Japan. Good high flat swing there. The opening match of the final day will be played again versus China and the United States at noon, followed by Italy and Brazil. That's the middle match as the World League and then back-to-back to the World Grand Prix come to a close. Tied at 16. Russia doing a better job with their ball control right now, both setting off balls and with their digging. But if you don't close up the block, that's what happens. You pay the price. Liu Yanhong with a kill.
Kostianenko not at all happy with her team for not keeping that ball in play. That's a classic example of the middle blocker opening up the cross-court angle by jumping past the point of impact.
That was not the back row defense's fault. Kostianenko just didn't see it. And, oh, great save. And Kostianenko, we saw her getting some treatment along the sideline. When she went down to get that ball, she was in a lot of discomfort, so something to look for. The medical staff for Russia was working on her back, and when she dove over to get this ball, I don't know if we'll be able to see it, but when she tried to get back up, that was not working particularly well, but a wonderful effort by Katerina Kostianenko to keep that ball alive. Timeout called by Russia. They give up back-to-back points.
Well, Russia do have the ability to bring Olga Efimova in another set. A bit taller as well. They've used her already in the game. She's been effective. Trouble is when you make changes in those kind of positions, in setting key positions, if the team don't have confidence in the player coming in, it can have a disastrous effect.
Goncharova out of the back row, and only one blocker there. Boy, don't you have to get more hands in front of Goncharova? There really wasn't much middle attack.
2 minimum, but look at that, it's open right up. Great movement around the setter to free up Ognichova to have that swing. That was all about the people running off the ball.
Through the seam in the block once again. That's death to a defense, because there's no way you're coming up with that ball.
They try and plug the hole with the defender at 6, but that's not helped by the fact it's come off Pasenkova's hands and just taken it in a completely different angle.
And once again, one blocker up in front of Goncharova on a slowly developing back row attack. We'll give you her numbers. That's her 14th kill on 26 swings. And a little bit of balance today for Russia, trying not to work Goncharova right into her grave before this tournament is over. I'll give you the numbers on China's side in just a moment. Goncharova right over the top, brilliant dig. That ball set a little bit too tight. Smartly thrown into the block to restart the point. And again. And through the block again.
Great rally, everybody giving it their all. And another good block out from China, right at a key moment as well from their most experienced player, Liu Xiaotong, finding a gap, finding that seam.
Right through the hands of Fedosova. Liu Yanhong, number 19 in maroon, leading the way for China. 32 swings already and 15 kills. Combination play, good cutback. I like the variety there from Russia.
It was a nice little disguised play. Goncharova's hit everything out wide off the pipe or off the backcourt at 10. First time she's just come inside, just watch, although didn't really make much of a disguise. Always looking at that angle, not picked up though by the Chinese block, didn't see it coming.
And China right back at you. Both teams in system an awful lot, meaning that they have all their choices available off the relatively perfect pass. Deng Xia back to serve, 25 years of age, 5'11", 1m80. The setter and the captain injured after the opening set of this tournament. And Goncharova missed it out of bounds. And for the number of swings she has taken, she has been so relatively error-free. That is a very, very rare ball hit out of bounds by Goncharova. 3-point lead now late in the second set for China. And a shank pass, and now working on Goncharova there on the right side. And now China just 2 points away from the 2-0 lead.
Very good serve from Deng Xia, just moving it over to where the stack is on that side. And Pasinkova not being able to deal with the ball.
Well, look how short the Russian receivers are. A lot of court behind them. What a good play. I love that delivery. Had me completely fooled. Nice little set to the right side by Deng Xia.
We mentioned Russia's serve-receive unit are up very high in the court, and that's caused them all the problems in that set, in that last point. Yurchenko, you're going to be up this high. First thing you got to be thinking about is, I want to volley the ball, not underarm pass it in.
Goncharova down the line, what a dig by Wang, but can't be played on that time by number 9, Zhang Chongning. Now this is going to be a real test. Unless Russia can come up with a miracle, they're going to be down 2-0. And they expended a lot of energy less than 24 hours ago. Played the late match last night, having to come back for the early match tonight. And inside of Lyubushkina, and China wins the second set 25-20. And they sprinted their way across the finish line and now are on top. 2-0 over Russia.
Well, this is an audacious set, to say the least. Forcing that one into the middle, and somehow they managed to get the point. Well, they have it, they don't care, they lead 2-0, and I'll probably have to retract my statement of saying we're going to go to 5. What I will say is, though, they're probably going to just be as close as they have been. A good chance China could take this one 3-0. The stats then for the second set, and just look at that, only 2 attack errors either side. In fact, in the course of the 2 sets so far, there's only been 13-14 so errors all in, which is brilliant. But it's all a question of when they come as well. And look at that, just 1 block for Russia, and actually for them that's really low. They were something that there's been a really big part of their game at this World Grand Prix has been their blocking. And China out-spiking Russia. Pretty good for their 2-0 lead so far.
Remember Goncharova against Brazil by herself. She had 8 stuff blocks. So Russia doing an awful job. Their blocks just not together. And they're just getting shredded on the outside. And you know, and you pointed it out, when balls rattle through the block, when they just shake through, impossible to dig.
And Russia are going to have to get disciplined, have to get out early and make sure they close those gaps, get across the net.
Omaha, Nebraska. The first time that the United States has hosted a major international volleyball competition since the 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games. Almost all of the major women's tournaments, the annual tournaments, always take place in Asia. The finals last year were in Tokyo, and if I'm not mistaken, prior to that, the Grand Prix finals were held in China 3 years in a row. So Russia trailing 2-0. Do they have enough energy to fight their way back into this match? Because it would be a long slog. The only way they can win, of course, is if they win the next 3 sets.
I just wonder whether or not they've got the heart for it now after losing those first 2.
Exactly. That was my point. I mean, you look up and you just go, really? Really? We've got to play for 2? Really?
It wouldn't be surprising, would it, if they didn't see this one out, they didn't get back into it. It'd be very easy just to give up.
Good block out of the middle, number 17, Yonni.
The early signs not good for Russia.
Smart set, but not accurately done. Liu, number 19, was out of position, trying to help late on that tip, and it was a smart choice, but just very poor execution by number 16, Jingxia. Very badly sprained ankle, the opening set of this tournament, and good to see her back on the court. Tough serve and handled beautifully, and then off the block and out of bounds by number 9, Zhang Chongning.
That's so frustrating for Russia, because you're right, well, this is an excellent serve, brilliantly passed, and then not only that, it's block out as well to lose the point.
Chance for China to really grab this opening set by the throat, but Malova says not yet. And then Goncharova down the line. That was a big play. If China seemingly had scored there and made it 4-1, you might have seen an early timeout, but that was one of those big plays that China couldn't put to the floor.
Yeah, very nice swing from Goncharova, nobody getting in front of it. And I think if China do get too far away early on in this set, I wouldn't be surprised if Marachev says, do you know what, let's put some of the youngsters on, let's just see if they can get us out of trouble.
Well, you got to change something.
Clever play from China.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Just behind the block and far enough away from a very tired Natalia Goncharova. If she's not tired, she's the best conditioned athlete in Omaha.
Well, they are very, very good athletes to be able to sustain this kind of level. So they play pro volleyball and train every day. When you're only playing a match once a week, which is very different to playing a match every day, which they're doing here.
Yeah, I think this is too much. I think this is too much. I'd like to see the format changed. I like the round robin. That's fine. But it's somehow either in the middle or at the end of the round robin, you get a day off, and then the top 2 teams play for the championship.
I guess it would work if we push it up to 8 teams, which would allow for a day off, wouldn't it? And you could
then you could have 2
slightly.
Yeah, then you could have 2 pools of 4. Yeah, there are lots of options, but I think asking athletes, male or female, to play 5 straight matches against the teams that were good enough, so that means that they were the best teams in the Grand Prix this year. You know, in the preliminary round, you might have an easy one, you know, 3-0 and the scores in the low teens, but when you're playing teams that have made it to the finals, you know, every match is going to be tough, supposedly. Brazil sending a mixed roster indeed, but they at least had that team in the tournament from the very beginning. China using 2 entirely different rosters. Nice kill by Liu Xiaotong.
Such a great defensive play by Liu Biskina. Just watch as she goes to play this. She's in the right place, facing towards net, then the ball goes to the side and she gets turned by it. And as soon as that happens, you've got no chance.
Zhang Shuya back to serve. China out to the early lead, and most importantly, up 2-0. Natalia Goncharova.
When you're just looking at that previous play and Livishkana's poor dig, have a look at the effort here. That's a great swing, but sometimes you can't make the play, that's fine. But when you're talking and trying to make players keep their shoulders facing it, one thing I like to say is think about a baseball swing and a golf swing. If you make a baseball swing playing defense, you're not going to stop anything. If you make a golf style swing, get one shoulder under the other, you've got a good platform to bring the ball back.
Technical timeout of the third set. Opening match of day 4. China over Russia 2-0 and 8-5.
Superb timing on that B quick, splitting Russia's block. Goncharova having to help out. I really do like the speed at which China are using their middle and the way they're putting the ball in there. Not just on the quicks. They haven't run a lot of, they don't really run a lot of slide behinds, but like to run the B quicks and the A quicks.
Russia and China getting ready to come out of the technical timeout. Russia fell behind early on, and China has now extended that to 8-5. Again, 3 matches each and every day here in Omaha at the World Grand Prix Finals. Coming up next, it will be the United States and Brazil, and then followed by the third match on day 4. It'll be Italy, coming off a nice win over China yesterday, taking on Japan. The Japanese playing very poorly here. They not only have lost all 3 of their matches, they have yet to win a set. First time that's happened in Japan in a major international tournament since 2008, that they lost their first 3 matches 3-0. Love that. Wonderful dig once again by Wang Mongjian, number 18, to key that particular point by China.
Oh, a little bit of Brazil brought to the court by China.
Yep. And I think that's all about the reemergence of Zheng Xia, number 16, the setter. China plays at an entirely different rhythm. And another block here, this time by Yan Ni, number 17, 6'3", and a veteran player for China at 28 years of age on this particular roster. Sherban will come back on, and now replacing Alexandra Pashinkova.
Do you know what? For me, that wasn't Pashinkova's fault. It was a poor set, and I'd be thinking about changing Kosciuszko and bringing in the other setter, because I don't think at the moment Kosciuszko's doing enough for Russia.
Well, when everything is going wrong, you usually change the setter. And I agree with you. Russia just can't allow this to continue going. Good kill by Sherban coming right off the bench. Russia has a very, very strong professional league for both men and women. Known to pay the absolute highest salaries in competition for players from anywhere in the world. And that ball is stuffed. Beautiful play that time by Fetisova. Closing the cross court, number 14, with some help from number 18, Ksenia Ilchenko. Off the edge of the block, and that's going to be outside the antenna. That ball should be out. Late call by the lineswoman right in front of the play, needing to get some help from some of her colleagues that were a lot farther away.
I like the fact that China carried on playing, though. Zhang Changning waiting for the whistle.
Yeah, that's a good point. She could. I've seen a lot of players just catch the ball, and you know, sometimes referees miss calls. You just got to play to the whistle. And was there a touch there? None detected by any of the officials. Susana Rodriguez, the first referee. And now Russia in real trouble, trailing 12-7. I'm with you. If Yuri Marichev doesn't change setters, I'm very curious as to why not. block here. Big Chinese block. Number 9, 6'4", and number 17, Yan Ni, 6'3". Well, there's going to be a challenge. Yuri Marichev saying, or hoping, that one of the Chinese blockers netted as they lost their balance on the way down, because now you can't touch the net at any time during the course of the play. This is going to be tough, though, because the net might have been, if it comes so late, the ball might have been down.
I think from the view that Marichev has, being on the side of the court he has, as that ball is blocked, I'm not sure he can see it actually hits the net. What he can see is the net going up and down as the ball goes down. So to him, it looks like China have touched the net. We got the benefit of seeing the first replay, which clearly showed us it was just the ball that's hit the net, which has made it go up and down.
Waiting for the challenge video. There is a designated or a dedicated challenge video referee, and he's looking at all the angles. And we'll get you the video confirmation. And the Hawkeye is ready, and here it is for you, the official review. And there is no touch, and exactly right, Clay. The ball hit the top of the net. But you know, again, we can't read minds, but maybe Yuri Marichev knows that and just wanted to create a timeout. Very hittable set on the outside, the roll shot. That ball's got to come back up, and the Chinese know it. Liu Yanhan roll shot into the block and then didn't get any help.
I think if anything, she needed to have played it herself, because she's played it back over her own head.
Yeah. But when you know that your libero, your best defensive passer, defender, etc., is behind you, you know, let her make the first contact. It happens. Very good tip, good redirection. Liu Yanhan warming things up, getting ready to play the United States, the #1 ranked team and reigning world champions, tomorrow, now with 19 kills on 37 swings. Left side again, good swing by Ksenia Ilchenko.
First of all, like Yan Ni, number 17, is still moving as this ball's being played. Indeed, she was. Generally speaking, the spiker leaves the floor. You need to stand still and play volleyball from wherever you are.
That ball drifts well long by a very tired-looking Natalia Goncharova. Russia is really struggling now attacking. They were hitting 350 in the opening set. Now they've gone all the way down to 264. Whereas China, very efficient, hitting just under 400. Libushkina off the top of the block, better played this time by Liu. Out of the back row, and then just set over the net and to the floor. And now China is running away with this, but every time I say that, they give up 3 straight points. The young Chinese team, and one of the hallmarks of the truly great Chinese teams from the 80s of Long Ping, and a wonderful team that they put together now that won the silver medal at the World Championships. Very young, very long, very disciplined, and don't make mistakes.
Well, Goncharova's been quiet by very high standards, but she's still one of the best players, and still, when she gets the ball, makes a huge impact. And one thing when you're watching this and just watch her play, there's no real big opening up of the shoulders. It's not when you're watching, like, for example, Nagioka for Japan, who's very obvious in what she's doing. This is just straight through, great shoulder power, brilliant speed, and good use of her hip as well to generate the power that she uses to put the ball away.
And if you're just joining us, once again coming in, Goncharova had hit 141 balls, 68 kills, 14 attacks per set, and averaging over 7 kills per set. So far in this one, after her usual start, slowed down a little bit here. 17, she's taken 37 swings, and they're trying to get more balance to the offense. Beautiful block by Liu. Boy, Liu Yanhan is the player of the match for China.
Well, China are absolutely buzzing at the moment. Really solid blocking as well. Stayed wide and waited for the attacker to come to her instead of chasing out with Libushkina.
Strong, tough serve. Russia way off the net. Goncharova can't put that ball down. Battled for, barely kept alive, and the ball is ruled on the floor. Now Yuri Marichev is going to say that the ball was up, but that is not challengeable. Ball up or down is not challengeable. In or out is challengeable, not up or down. Maybe next year. So Olga Efimova is going to come in. She's going to come in the backcourt for Goncharova, and Orlova will come back on as Yuri Marichev goes to the double sub, and I think he may well just stay with this.
It makes sense to, he's got to do something.
Well, he's left it awfully late, 18-9. I would have seen this. I would have seen this substitution coming maybe at 8-5. Then it was 10-5. It was maybe even overdue then, and you pointed it out. Change the setter, change the feel on the floor. Liu Yonhan again. She is having an absolutely superb match. Now with 20 kills on 38 swings.
Number 18, Ilychenko for Russia, is just struggling a little bit, having come in through the outside. And you can see Kosinenko's not in good shape. She's getting some attention as well to her leg.
A little quicker tempo to the outside, and Orlova now is playing at the opposite. She's been playing in the middle the whole tournament. Liu Yonhan off the top of the block. When you got it going, you got it going.
They can do no wrong at the moment, can they? Really good swing.
But I'll tell you what, Liu Yonhan is a big athlete. She got to quit with this running around business after the play. I mean, just rest a little bit. Let everybody else run around. She has put one ball after another to the floor. She's got several blocks. Let's give you her whole stat line. 21 kills on 40 swings. Only has one block. She's got 10 digs. She's 6'4".
Feet like a ballerina.
Orlova over the top. A little battle out of system. Pretty good reaction by Russia. Short shot. Nice play by the libero from China. And a better block on the outside by Yana Sherban.
Well, Liu Yonhan's been talking about how good she is for that last two plays in that rally. She was just stood watching. Firstly off the dig, she stood around. She doesn't actually move from that position. And then as it comes back again, it was a dig she could have made. And the ball hits the floor instead.
Well, China's got to be very careful. They want to get the heck out of here in 3 straight sets. Liu Yonhan, she looks a little out of gas right now. And you pointed out, not very active or very energetic in the last play or so. And they play the United States at noon local time tomorrow. Look at her. She's really breathing hard back at the service line. She is sucking wind right now, as we say. Good dig once again by Malova, but can't be followed up on by the Russian team. And this match is going to be mercifully over in a hurry. So really, really good congratulations to China. They lost a frustrating match yesterday to Italy in 5 sets. Didn't play very well. And Russia played late last night in the final match against the United States, and then were asked to come back straight in the first match this morning. Not this morning, let me correct that. This match was scheduled to start at 3 o'clock local time. They probably got off the court a little bit after 10 o'clock last night. But either way, it's a quick turnaround. About 15, 16 hours.
It's not really a great deal of time for your body to recover, even if they did after the warm down after the game and then maybe a little bite to eat and straight to bed. It's still back on court this early.
Yeah, tough to go to sleep after a match last night. That was a real battle between Russia and the United States. And I think they're just out of gas and maybe exposing the fact that Russia right now does not have much depth. They don't have many answers past their top 7 or 8 players. And with a World Cup coming up where it's 11 matches in 17 days, that's not a particularly good sign. China going to win this match 3-0. Now leading and in complete control, 22-12. Oh, stuff blocked there. Not a very smart swing. Ball's coming straight over your head. Can't see the block.
Yeah, very difficult having to play catch up to that one.
Yeah, I like this substitution. Number 14, Xu Zhang, who we have not seen, is coming in now for Liu Yanhong. And maybe Liu can just cool her jets for the rest of this match. Oh, another good block. Orlova along with Fetisova, 12 and 14 on the outside, and China not taking any chances is going to call a timeout, still leading 22-13.
We just have to be a little bit careful here. I know they only need 3 points, but it's very easy, as we're seeing, to switch off in this situation. You end up finding yourself in a really difficult position.
Well, always one of the worst things you can do is watch the scoreboard. Just every ball, every point has its own experience.
Yeah, those of you watching at home and playing games, you know when you've had a good game, because suddenly the whistle's being blown, you turn around thinking, right, you've got to serve again, and you actually won the game.
Right, yeah, oh, it's over. I've had that experience a few times, and some of the best players I ever played with went, oh, okay. They just are oblivious. One at a time. Orlova outside on the perimeter is really a big weapon. Number 12 for Russia, Katerina Orlova, 1'93", 6'4", and unfortunately Liu Yanhong is going to have to come right back into this match. Still 22-15.
There's a real mood change on court here for Russia. Everyone's stood there smiling now, and a bit of a buzz about what they're doing.
Well, China just needs to get out of this one rotation. And they do there, and then I think basically that was a match point.
That should settle them down now.
But they needed Liu Yanhong to come back in and get the job done. She now has 23 kills in 43 swings. Remember, you can join the conversation on Twitter. The hashtag FIVB Grand Prix. Good swing by Orlova. Looks solid in the opposite position, but if you've got Goncharova as the opposite, you know, that's why she'd been moved to the middle. Looks very comfortable, maybe plays opposite for a club team. 23-16. No blocker up, number 17, Yan Ni. Hammering that ball straight to the floor. So China, maybe the key was when they won the opening set 27-25. Maybe we'd be in a different place. Then they win the second 25-20, and they're about to close out the fourth here, their first match point. Oh, good swing into the cross court once again by Yana Sherban, who was taken out of the match for a while but has come back on and keeps Russia's very, very, very slim hopes alive. I don't think that cleared for contact. No touch off the top of the Russian block, so China's level, and they're done. They just want to get out of CenturyLink Center, but they got to make one more play. Match point again. Fetisova on the step out. Well, and it'll be match point yet again. And now China has called their last timeout.
I just want to settle it down and just say, okay, it's very simple now. We need one pass, one good pass, One good set, one good hit, and we can all go back to the hotel.
Yep. Sounds very simple. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. The fourth match point for China. There's the perfect pass. Not a good set. Ball is saved. And finally, off the block and out of bounds. Took a little while too long, but the result exactly the same. Liu Xiaotong, number 21, with the kill. China gets their second win of the tournament. They are now 2-2, back in medal contention as they beat Russia 3-0. Russia falls to 2-2 as well. Lost to the United States last night, and then they lose 3-0 to China here in the opening match of day 4. Be sure and stay with us now. Clayton Lucas will have an interview with one of the Chinese players. And then, if you're still with us, coming up next will be the United States and Brazil. So it was a very tough challenge for Russia coming off their long, very physical match last night, 3-1 loss to the United States. But look, you could say exactly the same thing about China. China played 5 long sets, lost to Italy yesterday, but it was China that came out with the energy. They were doing their dance in the beginning, and they were doing their dance at the end. And the star player, no doubt about it, was Liu Yonhan. 23 kills, 44 swings, hit 2 balls out of bounds, was blocked twice, hit .432. That is just a superbly strong performance by this 22-year-old outside hitter, and very impressive. Now China's got to get back to their hotel. They got to cool off a little bit. They got to get some calories and get ready for their last match of this competition against the reigning world champions from the United States. Now, we told you we were going to talk to one of the Russian stars. Let's send it over to Clayton Lucas.
How pleased were you to have won that game in straight sets, 3-0?
Pardon?
So how pleased, how happy are you to have won the game in straight sets, to have managed to get it done 3-0?
今天3-0大比分，胜利，你对此，什么感受？
我觉得按正常实力来讲，今天俄罗斯的水平还是要高于我们的，但是，我觉得今天我们还是充分的做好了困难准备吧，然后准备了对手的，准备了充足的困难，教练在之前的准备会也讲得非常清楚，然后今天我觉得我们就是今天执行能力不错吧，在进攻和发球方面抑制对手抑制的比较多，我觉得今天很满意我们今天的发挥。
Basically, normally I think Russia is stronger than us. However, we were very well prepared for all kinds of difficulty. Before the match, the coach encouraged us a lot, and we executed the plan very well. We especially did a good job in attack as well as in the serves. And I'm very happy about the result.
And how happy are you with your own performance coming back from injury?
你之前受了伤，然后现在又回来比赛，然后还有那么出色的发挥，你是否感到非常的高兴？
我想是的吧，因为前一场受伤之前并不是非常严重，但是教练出于保护队员的目的吧，还是没有让我在前2场比赛中有足够的上场时间。然后今天脚恢复的差不多了，然后所以可以有更多的时间发挥吧。然后也谢谢队友的支持，才有今天的发挥。谢谢。
Yes, actually my injury was not very severe. However, to protect me, the coach limited my working. Now my foot is much better, and I also want to thank for the support from my teammates.
Well, congratulations and well done on the win.
他说非常恭喜，然后做得非常好，谢谢。
Well, there we go, and very nice to see number 16, Ding Xia, the starting setter for China, back in the lineup. An easy 3-0 victory for China, and maybe the deciding factor was in the opening set when China was able